This is part two of this lesson about in the news, October 31st, 2022, on this Monday noon at 12:54 p.m. This is part two of this lesson. Cut it short of part one because I was speak to my OG. Now this is part two of this lesson about the inflation is on the rise around the world, and that's what we're seeing. As as I showed you, I brought part one of my lesson. Now this is part two. As I showed you, part one of my lesson, what the increasing with the consumer spending and the inflation, on the around the globe, especially parts of Europe. I showed you an article of France, Germany, and parts of Europe as well too, of the rise and increasing of the inflation and the consumer spending as well too, you know. And I'm gonna read this again for edification's sake. France consumer price soaring. Yep, consumer price soaring, and inflations as well too. And then you got one country, their inflation is 10.7. In the other country, their inflation's like 6.2 to 6.6, and others like 9.7. So yeah, I believe it's the same here in the United States as well too, like a 8.7, like a 8.7 or 9.0, because you've been having consumer spending, gas prices going to increase. So expected to see more consumer spending, more high increase in inflation, and more spending, more gas prices gonna increase definitely over in Europe and the United States as well too, but definitely most for sure over there these European countries, their gas prices definitely gonna go out through the roof. It's definitely gonna increase along with the consumer spending and the inflations as well too. So it's going to be a more increase of these things, because you're going to see more a high rise increase of inflation, a high rise increase of food prices, consumer spending, especially is at an all-time high, you know. So expected to increase here in the United States and around the globe as well too, because inflation and consumer spending is on a rise, is increasing now so more than ever. So with that, this was a sit down lesson that I did in regards to the inflation is on the rise for part one and part two of this video. So I hope this was edifying. Hopefully the news articles was informative to read. So I hope this was edifying about, in regards to the inflation and consumer spending, because the inflation is definitely going to increase and rise, like I mentioned before, part one of this lesson. Now this is part two of this lesson. So, like I mentioned before, inflation and consumer spending and gas prices not only rising in the United States, but it's effectively around the globe as well too, especially throughout Europe. So it's going to expect to rise, especially the gas prices and the consumer spending. It's definitely going to increase throughout fall and winter as well too of this year. So expect to see those increase now so more than ever. And I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Wakar Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and a ball.